Good morning, my little purple bags. Good morning, my little pumpkin Pop-Tarts. How is everyone doing today? Today, I feel like a baddie. I don't know what it is. I think it's like the hair or something where I just feel like a baddie. So, if this is your first time here, then hi, my name is Carrington. If this is not your first time here, then welcome back. If you enjoy hauls, if you enjoy trying out new makeup, if you enjoy trying out old makeup, if you just enjoy trying out makeup period, if you enjoy collabs, if you enjoy palette bingos, if you enjoy all things makeup, and we sprinkle in some true crime here and there, then definitely go ahead, hit that subscribe button, click the little bell so be notified of all my future uploads. As well, if this is your 10th time, 100th time, 50th time, second time here, and you still have not yet hit that subscribe button, I absolutely invite you to do so, because we all know you want to join this dumpster fire, dumpster fire, dumpster fire of a channel. And let's go ahead and let's get into today's video. Okay. Now, I am a huge fan of Scott Barnes. I first was introduced to him with Tati, and she really uses his products. I went out and I bought some of his products. I have raved about this natural palette, and then I also have his blush palette, bronzer palette, and contour palette. I have all of these palettes. And last year he released something. It was like $120 for a couple of shades. I did not buy that, but this year, he came out with something that I was like, I think I need to buy this. And that was the Scott Barnes music box. So, it's really, really cute. It's got like this really beautiful swan. This is made of cardboard. I do appreciate that. And it plays music. It plays like a whole song. Alright, so there is the song. Up on this top part, it comes with some eyeshadows, and then down here in the little pull-out, I will say I don't really care for this pull-out. It doesn't slide out super well, and it just feels really cheap, like the slide-out part. Okay. And inside there are some bronzers, contours, highlights, and blushes. So what we're going to do today is we're going to just play around in this palette. We're going to see what look we can create with the Scott Barnes music box. So if you guys are excited to see what look I create, what I think, as well as we're going to be seeing if like any of the bronzers match what's in the palette to see if it's even worth the money, because this was $225. You know, yeah, it was $225. It's a lot of money. So we're definitely going to dive right on in and get into playing with this collection. So I'm going to start off with the shade. This is going to be hard to do. Right here is called Center Stage. And where's my mirror? Because I'm going to need that. And we're just going to focus that. Oh, okay. So it has quite a bit of kick up, but it definitely does pick up on the brush nicely. And I'm just going to focus that in like my transition / crease area. So the shades automatically come off really nice and pigmented. Definitely really nice and blendable, especially because that Center Stage shade looks like it's going to be, you know, fairly like a really light shade, but it's really showing up really, really nicely. Like, I mean, it's just coming really nicely. I'm going to take that same brush and I'm going to go into the shade. It's more of like a gray, and it's called Away in the Manger. Away in a Manger, not the Manger, a Manger. and just kind of focus that like lower into like the crease area. This is going to be definitely like a really like cool toned look, but I think I'm going to add maybe like some purple or something just to kind of like tie in like this shirt, but for sure, like, yeah. Okay, this is so beautiful. For this being $225, like the rest of this whole thing better like be really good, because I'm gonna be really mad if I spent $225 on something that's not good. But so far these shadows are really pigmented. They blend so nicely. Like, it's so good. So I think I'm now going to go into the shade Eve is what it's called. It's like a darker smoky kind of like gray. And focus this on like the outer corner portion of my eye. And then bring it up into my socket. I need a really tiny brush because I'm going to go into the black shade Midnight. Literally just like tap like my brush in like ever so slightly, and then just kind of focus that in like the very outer portion of my eye, like the very, very outermost of my eye. Okay, so this black is not like as intense as I was thinking it was going to be. Like, I was just starting off with like a little bit, but like this last time I dunked in probably like a little bit too much because I wasn't paying attention, and it really like doesn't seem like super like dark and in your face. So okay, interesting. The one thing I will say about this palette is it does have a couple glitters in it, and I probably could have really have done without the glitters, truthfully. I'm not going to glitter prime my eyelids. I do this for all shimmer part of my eyelid. I'm not using the glitter. I don't have any desire to use the glitter. So then I'm going to take the shade Sugar Plum, and it's kind of like this like cool toned purple, and I'm going to start by pressing that on my eyelid, and I'm going to bring this closer to my inner corner. Alright, then I'm going to go into the shade, it's called Dewdrop. It's like a little bit of like a duochrome, but it's kind of, as you can tell, like more of like a topperish shade. And I'm just gonna start pressing that right on top of that like purple, that Sugar Plum shade. And like, yep, I like that a lot. I'm gonna try to amp that up just like a little bit more. But like, yeah, can you like see the difference? Beautiful. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to leave the eyes for right now. So I'm going to go ahead, do more of my face off of camera, such as like primer, foundation, concealer, powders, things like that. So we can come back and first of all, we're going to talk about the shades that are in here and if the shades correspond with shades that are already in his other palettes. And then we're going to test them out to see how good they are. So definitely stay tuned. Alright, so I'm back and we're going to go ahead and move on to the lower lash line. So I'm going to start with the center stage shade, which is the first shade that we started with. And I am just going to start smoking this out on the lower lash line. Then I'm going to go into that shade called Away in a Manger and just focus that a little bit higher up on the lash line. Finally, I'm going to mix a little bit of like Eve and Midnight together for like the very like outer portion of the lid. So then we're going to start doing the face. So here is kind of what we've got going on in the Sculpt palette. I'm not going to lie. Some of the shades look similar, but I don't think they're exactly the same in terms of like the sculpting shade. So I'm going to start off with the shade, it's called Petite, and this is kind of like that lighter, and I'm going to use this to like sculpt out my cheekbones. Like just ever so slightly. Just like that. Yeah. Going the other side. I'm going to take like a little bit of like a more powdery brush, and there's Cavalier and there's Grande. Cavalier is a little bit lighter, so I'm just going to go ahead and like tap into the shade Cavalier, and then this I'm just going to kind of focus all around. I mean, Scott Barnes just does powder so well, you guys. Like, he just does. I just can't help it. So then I have the blush palette, and let's just open this up. So this is definitely like a very like pinky color story. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you maybe one or two of these shades look similar to what's in here that's in here. I think that they are, again, very different. So I'm going to take a blush brush. I'm going to go into the shade called Pirouette. It's like this really like nice like cool toned pink. And I'm just going to start focusing that with just like right up in here. This is such a beautiful, beautiful shade. It's got really good pigmentation. Yeah, that's cute. Absolutely. This is so beautiful. And I hate that this is so beautiful because this was so expensive. Like $225. Oh. Alright, so then we have 3 highlighters in here. I would say the highlighters are pretty similar, honestly. There's a couple, yeah, like the ones that are in here look like the Twilight Sand, the Sugar Rush, and the Pinkaboo. They look very similar. So let's see how well these work. Let me find a highlighting brush. Here we go. Okay, so I'm probably going to take the shade Finale. I don't know how well this is going to go on my skin tone, but let's just see. Is this even showing up? Can anybody tell? Can anybody see? Okay, yeah, it's definitely showing up. This is just like a very just kind of more like lit from within type of glow, as compared to like Bam in Your Face blinding, which is just kind of like what I'm used to and what I prefer. But it's not bad. Like, it's not glittery. It really doesn't really emphasize any of my texture. This is so nice. Okay, just look at this. Okay. All right, so that is it for everything that's in the Scott Barnes box. I'm gonna go finish off the rest of my face off of camera, so then we can come back and I can tell you guys a little bit more about my final thoughts. All right, so I am back with the completed and final look. Wow, I'm losing my voice. Let me know what you guys think down below of this look. Do you love it? Do you not love it? I want to hear all of your guys' thoughts. As well as, let's go ahead and let's get into my final thoughts on this music box. Number one, I really like the singing aspect of it. I think that's really cute. I kind of get where this would be a little bit annoying because there's no way to shut it off. Like, you just, like, if you're using this and you're like breaking this out and breaking this open, like, there's no way to shut it off. So I can kind of get where that would be kind of annoying. Now, in terms of the actual like eyeshadow palette, I don't really care that there are 2 pressed glitters in here. Now these don't feel like terrible glitters or anything by any means. I don't think that these, let's just go ahead and swatch. So yeah, you still have a lot of like left over. I'm just not a huge fan. I wish those weren't in there for $225. I want a palette without some glitters. I will say there are quite a few shades right here that look really, really similar. Now, looking at them up close and personal, they're not exactly the same. But these are all 4 really, really light shades. And I don't really think we needed that many. I think we could have done with like, so this one's like a really like light pink. So I think we could have like stuck with that. And then just like one of these being the light shade. I don't think we needed all of those. In terms of like the colorful colors in here, so you have like one blue, you have like one purple, you have like one pink, you have like a maroon, but you have like really colorful shimmers. And I just kind of wish there was maybe like a little bit more colorful shades in here, or at the very most maybe give me some more neutrals to work with. I just felt like there was just very limited mattes in terms of to work with in this palette, and I just kind of wanted a little bit more. I do love the eye look that I created. I think that is absolutely beautiful. I think the quality of the shadows are really nice. You do get one duochrome. It's more of like a topperish kind of a shade, but I added it to the top of the like here's Sugar Plum. I added those 2 together to create the look on my lid right now, and I love that. I hate this pull-out drawer. It feels so cheap. It's so hard to like pull out. I am just not a fan of that. I really wish it would have been a little bit easier to like pull out, or you know, maybe like this was a little bit more like a box. I know this is like a box, but I'm talking like an actual quality like jewelry box kind of thing. I think that would be cute. In terms of the powders, I used this right here for my contour, and I used this right here to like bronze everything up. I think those worked really well for me and my skin tone. I know you could probably make that work if you're a little bit darker than me too. And then you definitely have some like deeper options. Are these options that he put in here going to be absolutely perfect for every skin tone? No, absolutely not. You would need a lot more. But I think that given the amount of shades that you get, you know, I feel like that could work for a good range. Now, it's not going to be for everybody in every single range, but I think that it's somewhat of a decent range. And you can go in lighter handed like I did. I went in light handed, and you can definitely go in a little bit deeper and built up. I think that the blushes are really nice. I think the blushes go really well for the shadows that were picked. And again, they're not at all similar. There might be one. I think this one's like a little bit similar to one in his palette, and potentially this one just somewhat similar. I think that like they're similar, but I don't think they're exactly the same. So you do get some like different variety of blushes. In terms of like the contour shades, if you are wanting something where you can get something more range, I would say definitely go for the contour palette over this, but just having this all in one is really nice. In terms of the highlighter, you only get 3 highlighters. They're right here. You know, I don't think like this one right here, Spotlight, like that's going to be way too dark for me. I use this one right here. I went in with like a light hand, and then I know this one right here would work for me. This is Front Row. Finale, I had to go in really super, this one right here is Finale, super light with, and I know the shade right here, Spotlight, is just not going to work for me, but I could totally use that for an inner corner highlight if I wanted to. So I think you do get some really awesome, you know, a good range. There are some things that I would have changed, but overall I think this is super cute. The quality was great. My makeup turned out absolutely stunning. I am in love with like the whole look and everything. So for me personally, was it worth $225? For me, yes. I'm totally going to get like so much use out of this. I am in love with this. I am just going to say this now. I'm a huge fan of Scott Barnes, and I think he does powders really well. And so I'm personally in love with it. $225 is a large bullet to bite. Like, that is a pretty big bullet to bite. So if you're not comfortable with that amount, you know, you definitely don't need to pick it up. If you are really kind of like, I just want to get to know Scott Barnes and what he has to offer, I would say, you know, I personally would probably get like the blush palette. I get the most use out of the blush palette just because I could use all of these. Whereas with the bronzer and the highlights, I don't really, you know, here's the bronzers. Like, only so many bronzers are going to work for me. And then, you know, the highlighters, again, only so many highlighters are going to work for me. And again, his are more like lit from within. And I like more like bam in your face, but I think like he just does those so well for like when I want something that's like lit from within. They're beautiful. So I would say if you are wanting to like get to know Scott Barnes and his formula, definitely check out this cheek palette, his blush palette. And then in terms of like eyeshadows, I think you could go with either any of them. He's got like a natural number 2, which is called like the Glamazon. He's got like a more colorful one. I probably wouldn't get the one that's $120 and you only get like 8 shades. I hear those are really good, but I don't think that would probably be my first choice is like picking one out. Like, I would probably go with natural if you're really into like some like neutral tones. But if you're one where you're just like, if I, you know, it could $225 because, you know, these palettes right here are really expensive. The eyeshadow palettes are like $84. You know, if you're just one of those, like, I know Scott Barnes is expensive, I just want to bite the bullet and get something that has like the bronzers, the blushes, the highlighters, and eyeshadows all in one. I think this is fair priced for what he would normally charge for his other palette. So his eyeshadow palette's usually like $84, and you don't get near the amount of shadows that you do in here. So automatically this is more. The box is obviously going to be more. You get like the cute, you know, like Swan Lake kind of vibe, and you get like the music box. So obviously that's going to cost you a little bit more. And then, you know, you get 4 bronzer shades, and they're very large sized bronzer shades. Like, they're not even that big like in his other palettes. Like, these are like his normal size. But his blushes and highlighters, I would say, would probably be about similar to like the size that you would get in here. I think they're just like a little bit longer. So I would say if you want to bite the bullet, and you know Scott Barnes costs a lot, this is such a good deal. I know a lot of times, like, if you sign up for his site, I think you save like 10 or 20%. Totally 100% look into this if you're willing to bite the bullet. I really think this is really good if you're wanting to try Scott Barnes and want to try all of his products all in one instead of having to buy everything separately. This would be the way to go, and it's so good. I love the look I created. I'm really not disappointed in any of the products. I mean, like, my skin looks so good. The products look so good. I mean, this was just this was a really, really good deal. I think he did a fantastic job with this. Again, something that Scott Barnes made that I'm just not disappointed in it. So let me know what you guys think down below. Do you guys like the way this eye look turned out? Do you think my skin looks healthy, glowy, dewy? Let me know what you guys think down below. If you enjoyed this video, then definitely give this video a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, click the little bell so you're notified of all my future uploads, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!